Hello, world. How's everybody doing? I just wanted to reach out to everybody and talk a little bit of Bengals. We're not going to do anything crazy. I just did a crazy live stream myself on Instagram. Um, I don't usually do these flying solo. I think Ace had to do some stuff, so I'm gonna just at least record my audio or my different observations from this particular week. Once I go from here, then I think we'll take this audio and combine it with some other stuff. But I will say this game to me was about the shortcomings of the Bengals with given opportunities in a lot of different spots. I thought a lot of people later on, or if you don't know, we're talking about this is the Orange is the New Black podcast. This is me, Zim Hude, but we're just coming off of a loss to the Packers, where we just were defeated by a field goal in overtime. A lot of the stuff that I saw just now in the game, it's puzzling to me throughout the game why the Bengals make it so much easier on the opposition. That's one of my main points that I have is that they start off so slow. They go 4 different drives in the first half where there's 4 drives and out of 5 drives, they go 4 3 and outs. So they make it really, really tough on the defense. But the defense holds up. And then if it isn't for the Jamar Chase touchdown before the half, I think the game probably doesn't go even as close as probably, like it ended up. But it's a good thing that they get the ball every third quarter. That's been like a winning formula. But there's so many different plays that I don't even really know where to begin. But my overall trend that I have is that the Bengals make it so easy on the opposition in so many different ways. By them not putting Chris Evans on the field, it just makes it so much easier to game plan for them. Pete Ryan coming out of the backfield is just no fear for anyone. And then some uncharacteristic things that happen in this game, like Jesse Bates letting Devontae Adams get behind him, or Von Bell missing a big tackle on the Aaron Jones run, which I actually thought worked in the Bengals' favor because it made it so that the clock was down to 2 minutes and 22 seconds, and it made it so the Packers had to score right here with a field goal or a touchdown. So it worked in our favor that they actually went down the field that fast, which is crazy. But they make it so easy for the opposition because Zach takes the ball out of Burrow's hands in all of the big spots, all of the big third downs, and including the whole overtime. He takes the ball out of his hands. That isn't to say that this whole loss is on Zach, but for the most part, I was just very disappointed that when it mattered the most, they took the ball out of Burrow's hands. You saw like some of the plays where they're running. What was the 3rd and 5 run? For 2 or 3 yards, and then you're forced to kick a very long field goal. Excuse me, that's the 57-yard field goal into the win. And then later in the game, we go into overtime. Joe Mixon runs, and I know that's a first down, but the first down is there to be had. They get the first down, but it's not called a first down. It's now 4th and 1. And instead of Zach going for it, what does he do? He goes and runs Evan out there in the wind, 49 yards. So some people at the stadium saying that it wasn't that windy. I believe that it was pretty windy based off of I'm looking at the wind and the ball getting carried on all of these kicks, including the Crosby kicks. Some of those Crosby ones just come right off his foot the wrong way. But I just thought that they were doing a disservice to Evan because 2 times in the first half, you had the opportunity to kick field goals on the Packers 40, right? It was windy though, or at least the flags were moving. But you had 2 different opportunities to kick on the Packers 40, right? But they don't kick, they don't kick it there, they punt it. And so you're icing him in the first half of it. So then when you come back to the second half, you run him out to the field and then kick a 57-yard field goal, which he almost hits. It goes off the uprights. The 49-yard field goal, he thought he hits. The wind solely takes it. In both instances, the wind takes it. So, Ryan, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, in both instances, the wind takes that ball right at the end, and the flags are moving. So, I don't know. Like, maybe the wind wasn't gusty, but it took those balls at the end of it. And I was talking to Ace before this, and he was saying, like, man, he's just got to hit. And I agree 100%. Like, he's got to hit. and it is what it is. But for the most part, I just thought the game was there to be had. There's a lot of different things that Bengals fans can, take a consolation prize on and say, you know what, they were in the game. They took it toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers, and it is what it is. I'm not mad at the effort. I think a lot of different plays, like when you get into it, I think it's easy to focus on all the plays that happened in the game that made it so that the Bengals didn't win the game, right? But there was a lot of good things. I remember a play where Joe Burrow slides up into the pocket so smooth, and he delivers a beautiful ball to P. Ryan and gets a first down. And I immediately got hyped. And at that point, then I said, "Man, Joe's about to come off and do some things." Not to go back on the negative side again, but Joe threw a really bad interception on that first down. All the momentum is in his favor. I think the Jamar Chase toe tap just happens on the sideline. All the momentum is in your favor. He forces a ball that he shouldn't, throws a pick. I don't know why. Momentum in your favor. In the overtime, I hated the fact that a lot of people were saying, well, Joe just made a bad decision. I think that was an option route that Tyler Boyd had where he's got the option to go back inside. Joe's thinking he's going to go outside, inside, and he doesn't. For the most part, I don't think the game is solely on Zach Taylor for play calling, because there are different pieces in the game. Even the 2-point conversion where Higgins improvises Burrow improvises and catches Higgins in the back of the end zone. I thought he did a really good job of catching that on the back of the end zone. And the play call, it wasn't scary, it wasn't timid, and I really liked that. But for the most part, man, that's just one of them games that you feel like, man, I could win that, So for people saying that, man, the Bengals are exciting and fun to watch, I agree. That's what I always wanted. But I hate to look back at the season and say these are games like that Bears game where all you got to do is get Justin Fields off the field and then you can go win it. Or in this game where you had so many different times that you could have hit and you didn't, and it was just a waste of opportunity. So I really feel for them on that regard, because I think later in the season it might be really important when we look back at that game, when you look at a Packers game where they've given you so many different opportunities to go win it. They didn't throw anything in overtime, and that's the part where I think Zach comes into question, because for most of the game, I was saying in the first half, I know I alluded to the fact that they had 5 possessions. On 4 of them, they go 3 and out. I do know that, right? But they were pretty aggressive in their play calling, spreading guys out early in the game, even though they still wanted to go. P. Ryan heavy. It wasn't until the overtime period where I was really super critical on Zach and saying, hey, hold up now. Why aren't you putting the ball in Joe's hand? And I think you taking the ball out of Joe's hands played into the Packers' hand, So I didn't like that at all. And it was just a bunch of wasted opportunities. We got some things that I think that Jamar Chase is now cemented himself as one of the top. I would go far to say that Jamar Chase is probably a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL, just 5 games into a season, which is incredible in itself. T. Higgins had 2 very, very crucial drops today. The one where he's on where he's going to catch it going down to the ground, and then the other one on the sideline. I thought that I just thought he was trying to get more yards after the catch, and at that given moment, all we needed was a catch, and that was very detrimental to like that drive right there, and I thought that really hurt us a lot. Joe didn't have one of his best games, but there were flashes in different times. Joe takes that hit, and now it's been said that he's gone to the hospital for precautionary measures because he might have a throat contusion. So we're praying that Joe has a speedy recovery. He takes that hit, keeps it trucking. A lot of people were in fear of that. I mean, I was gasping a little bit and said, what's going on? But if you were in my live on Instagram, you'll see that I was pretty confident that he would come back. I thought Awuzie coming back was really, really key. I don't think if Awuzie doesn't come back, I think Devontae Adams just goes off even crazier than he had. Somebody run off the stat line for me on that, because from a fantasy football standpoint, I mean, I was looking at him at one point, he had 11 catches and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy was on fire. So, or did he have 1 touchdown? But he was on fire at one point. So I just thought that the defense had to do. I was saying some things that if you're looking at the Packers and you're looking at AJ Dillon catch it in the flat, those are things that I want the Bengals to do so many times. Just do it over and over again, because more times than not, I just don't think that no one can do anything with guys like Chris Evans or Joe Mixon in flat open space. So, like, even if you don't feel like you're going to have that much success with it, and maybe you think it's 3 yards to 4 yards or whatever, keep on doing it. I think he breaks it and makes a big play out of it. And the one wheel route that they did give him, he gets 9 yards on it. I thought it was really, really close for a first down. And I thought he did like a rookie mistake to back up a little bit, and he should have just kept on going forward instead of fighting for it and trying to get extra yardage. But those are the things that defenses don't want to see, because if Chris Evans is out in space, I think it makes it really hard for them to guard the middle of the field. Now your linebackers are sucked out to the outside, and now Tyler Boyd has got it wide open. The biggest adjustment I think the Packers did from the Jaguars game is that they said early in this game, we're going to take away the middle of the field, and we're still going to go too high, so you can't beat us deep. And the one that they do get the chase is just because Burrow improvises and he has 8 seconds to throw the football. But if the Bengals want to get out of that, is to get their linebackers out in the space and get Chris Evans and start going into the screen game heavy. And when you do that, it's going to make defenses suck into that and start playing the perimeters. That's when Higgins and Chase can really, really do their thing. How we're watching at home and we see that, and then this staff still doesn't see it, is really beyond me, and I just don't get it. And that one thing right there, I think, opens up the Migos. The pass rush from Trey Hendrickson is really, really good, but they cannot have one guy being the guy. This is no different than Carl Lawson. It's just like you traded out. The pass rush, they got to do something. My boy Khaled Kareem's got to come back. The Bengals, I think, if their ownership is looking at these games, they got to look at these games and say, you know what, we're in position to win some of these games, so let's go make a trade for another edge runner. Let's go make it a big play and go do something special so that we can have a pass rush that we need. That's the most important thing that has to happen in this with the pass rush coming in. I got my man Ooze in here. Ooze, what did you think of the game? We're live. Just ran into it. All right. But Ooze didn't see the game, so he wouldn't know anything about it. But for the most part, I just thought that they got to do what makes other teams and other defenses uncomfortable with everything. So if they can get Chris Evans out there on the perimeter, Joe Mixon out there on the perimeter, I think it's going to go a long way. That in itself is going to make Burrow lock in on Tyler Boyd on those key third downs. And that's really, really important, because you shouldn't be looking at Tyler Boyd until the third quarter, and that's the first time that you throw it to him. Some of the things in this game, I think that we were very fortunate that, like Tyler Boyd bails Burrow out a couple of different times. But then when we go into overtime, we see an instance where there's just a miscommunication. They can even put two backs in the field at the same time if they want to, and nobody will be offended by it, right? So there's a lot of things to work off of. I think we'll look at this game and say we should have had that. I can't understand why Mixon did not, like, even on the let me vent for a second. Even on the 3rd and 16, huge holding call that was not called on Logan Wilson that sets them up for the game-winning field goal. To take it a step further, though, they could have had field goals missed earlier in the game. Made earlier in the game, and we wouldn't even have been in that position. So it is what it is. So I'm not going to speak on that too much. But I do think that was a crucial holding call. And then they reviewed the call play for a long time. But then when Mixon gets the first down on the 49-yard field goal, Zach should never run. He shouldn't have ran him out there. On that 4th and inches, he should have just went and ran and got him a couple extra yards, get the first down, make it super manageable, make that kick super simple. I think that is the difference between winning and losing. It's the smaller details. At the end of the game, it's a loss. You know what I mean? But those are the smaller details that, Man, that we gotta focus on. Make sure, like my man Anthony Clark said, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you continue to subscribe and tell everybody about this. I don't want to talk about this game too long because I want to make sure that Ace has enough time to talk and speak his part when he does his part. I think we're just going to combine the audios from both of these and put out our Orange is the New Black podcast. So make sure you follow Ace's New Stripe City. Make sure you continue to follow me at Zim Hude on Instagram and Twitter. The T. Higgins drops were really big, but it was a big, valiant effort. And I'm not going to knock the Bengals because now we're 3-2, and we potentially could be 4-2 if we take care of business on 10-17. I won't be doing a live because I have a very important day on 10-17 coming up next week. So I won't be able to see the game. So I'm looking forward to making sure you guys turn up. Make sure y'all send me y'all reactions. Make sure y'all send a lot of different things to me. I'm getting married, so I don't have the opportunity to watch the game, and I'm not even going to watch my phone because I want to be surprised by it, and I'm going to watch the game in its entirety after the fact. Ooze, do you got any big messages that you want to tell the people of Hude?
No.
No? I thought you were going to tell them a Hude or something. I think we lost the game because you didn't wear orange today. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Maybe so. All right. So that's me signing out. I just wanted to talk about a couple of plays. I thought we played really, really hard, and I'm not mad at the effort from the Bengals. It's too early to be saying fire Zach, but he's got to be smart enough to put our players in better position that are a threat to the opposition. Putting P. Ryan in short throwing situations is silly to me. It makes no sense at all. And it makes it very, very easy for the opposition. So that's my one key factor that they need to change. But we knew that coming into the game because what happens? Joe Burrow gives up. They give up 3 sacks, right? One of those is on P. Ryan. So you can't say that P. Ryan is elite at pass rushing, right? At pass blocking. So if you know that, then you got to make it very, very hard for the defense to adjust to what you're doing. Get Chris Evans out there just like you did on that one play for that 9-yard catch. And put that pressure on them, and then that in itself will open up the field for everybody. It's going to make it so that some of these third downs early in the game get converted. That's all I got for you guys today. Orange is the New Black podcast. I'm going to leave you guys out with a yes, sir, ski.